Early life and education. Sophie Scholl was born on May 9, 1921, in Forchtenberg, Germany. Growing up, she was raised in a household that emphasized the importance of education and critical thinking. Sophie excelled in school and showed a strong passion for literature, philosophy, and music. However, Sophie's formative years were greatly affected by the rise of Nazi ideology in Germany. As a young student, she witnessed firsthand the indoctrination and propaganda spread by the Nazi regime in schools and society. This exposure to fascist beliefs and practices deeply disturbed Sophie and fueled her desire to resist. Despite the challenges posed by Nazi rule, Sophie remained steadfast in her beliefs and continued to educate herself on issues of justice and morality. Her formative years laid the foundation for her future involvement in the White Rose resistance movement, where she would become a key figure in the fight against totalitarianism and injustice. University and the White Rose. Sophie Scholl, along with her brother Hans and a group of like-minded friends, founded the White Rose Group in 1942. The group aimed to resist the oppressive Nazi regime through non-violent means, such as distributing leaflets that called for civil disobedience and passive resistance. Their ideological foundation was based on principles of justice, freedom, and human rights, with a strong belief in the power of education and moral integrity. The White Rose quickly gained supporters and became a symbol of resistance against the atrocities of the Third Reich. The formation of the White Rose marked a pivotal moment in Sophie Scholl's life, as she dedicated herself to fighting for what she believed was right, even at great personal risk. Philosophy and activism. Sophie Scholl's ideological grounding was firmly rooted in her belief in the fundamental principles of justice, truth, and individual freedom. Coming of age during the rise of the Nazi regime, Sophie was deeply troubled by the injustices she witnessed and was inspired to take a stand against tyranny. Influenced by the teachings of her Christian faith and the philosophical works of thinkers such as Aristotle and Immanuel Kant, Sophie was driven by a strong moral conviction to resist the oppressive regime. Sophie's acts of resistance with the White Rose Group were not only a response to the atrocities of the Nazi regime but also a reflection of her deep commitment to upholding ethical principles and defending the dignity of every human being. Despite the danger and risk involved, Sophie remained steadfast in her beliefs and continued to speak out against injustice, even at the cost of her own life. Sophie Scholl's courage and moral integrity continue to inspire generations, serving as a reminder of the power of individual conscience and the importance of standing up for what is right, even in the face of adversity. Spreading the message. Sophie Scholl, along with her brother Hans and a group of like-minded individuals, orchestrated a series of leaflet campaigns to spread dissent against the Nazi regime. These 6 major anti-Nazi leaflets were painstakingly crafted in secret and then distributed across Germany. The White Rose movement, as they called themselves, believed in the power of words to inspire action and bring about change. Despite the risks involved, Sophie and her companions were determined to speak out against the atrocities of the Nazi regime and awaken their fellow Germans to the truth. The leaflet campaigns were a bold and dangerous form of resistance, but for Sophie Scholl and the White Rose, the message was worth the risk. Arrest and trial. Sophie Scholl and her brother Hans were arrested on February 18, 1943, after distributing leaflets denouncing the Nazi regime at the University of Munich. Their actions were considered treasonous by the Gestapo, who quickly apprehended them and subjected them to intense interrogations. During the sham trial that followed, Sophie remained steadfast in her beliefs, refusing to renounce her anti-Nazi stance. Both siblings were found guilty of high treason and sentenced to death by guillotine. Despite immense pressure to save her own life, Sophie courageously faced her execution on February 22, 1943, with grace and dignity, leaving behind a powerful legacy of resistance against tyranny. Legacy and memory. Sophie Scholl's enduring influence can be seen in the continued commemoration of her bravery and sacrifice in Germany and around the world. Her actions with the White Rose Resistance Group have inspired generations to stand up against injustice and tyranny. Scholl's courage in the face of extreme danger serves as a reminder of the power of speaking out against oppression. Her legacy lives on through memorial events, documentaries, and educational programs dedicated to sharing her story. Sophie Scholl remains a symbol of resistance and integrity, with her actions serving as a beacon of hope for those fighting for justice and freedom.